Hopefully, we got this audio issue fixed. Yeah, we're back, man.
I was about saying hopefully.
Yeah, bro. We don't go by hope.
Bro, we're
We go
not
by
going by
fact.
hope. We're back. Now we can
Back.
talk about the Lakers Heat, finals preview.
Oh, now
we
we
can
can
talk
talk about
about 'em.
Lakers.
Yeah, one of y'all want to take it over?
T, would you like to turn?
Oh, it's my turn again.
Would you like a turn, or you want me to go?
No, you did your thing.
Okay, bro. So
'Cause I feel like he was telling us what to do. You know what I mean?
yeah, like who are you, bro?
I am the producer.
But you're not the boss. Okay, so let me go back to my live with that. Okay, I'm next.
Sorry.
No,
Yeah,
we apologize, y'all. Like it's on us. We apologize.
It's on us. It's on.
No,
this.
it's not. It's on the producer.
It's on this system.
We don't
Right?
take
It's
none
on
of the
this
blame.
system.
I'm sorry. I just
We
wanted
are
to.
over here, bro.
Well, at least the fans know I like to take accountability, but even though it's not the true thing to do, it's the true thing to do. But back to this NBA Finals, man. I'm excited. This is going to be very interesting. What a narrative. You just can't. I feel. Can I get this out the way? I feel like there's something wrong here. I really do. Because there's no way you can just script LeBron James' life like this. It's unbelievable. So you mean to tell me, right? LeBron James goes to the Western Conference and goes to the Lakers of all teams, doesn't make the playoffs his first year, and then makes the playoffs the next year, but not only makes the playoffs, but makes the finals. But not only does he make the finals, his one of two options of opponents were either to relive the Celtics rivalry or not only win a championship, and it's not Cleveland. So how do you script this? How does that happen? How does this just miraculously happen? That's just weird.
I mean, he took his whole career into his own hands. I mean,
Pretty much.
Yeah, but that's just so what is the coincidence in that? Like just that narrative face value. Where is the coincidence? How does that happen? I'm not saying the league is rigged or anything, at least not on camera, but I'm just saying that's kind of awkward. How does that happen? But either way,
I can tell you how. Los Angeles Clippers not doing what they had to do happen. That's where it started.
You're welcome.
Sure.
But so I think that with this matchup here, I think that people are going to underestimate the Heat by a lot. And the people are going to underestimate the Heat by a lot because you see LeBron James on a mission. And you see AD basically average 30 against everybody. Regular season or postseason. Great. But I think where the Miami Heat have the advantage outside of people underestimating them is Miami actually has the bench to ride against the Lakers. They have the backups for them. And I think that with this final series, whoever has the best support system wins. Now, granted, I think that Miami as a team is so good, they can negate a couple of key factors for the Lakers. In the sense of the Lakers have great ball movement until they are flustered. When the Lakers are flustered, it's just I don't know what it is. And then somehow somebody gets them out of their mode. You know what I mean?
I mean, but who do they really have to contain AD and LeBron? That's the biggest factor here.
But you could ask that about a lot of teams.
Well, I think they're more equipped to handle LeBron than they are AD. But that was the same thing with the Clippers. Like the two teams that were more built to guard LeBron James were the Clippers and were the Miami Heat. It's just that the Clippers had a way better shot to get, or so we thought that Clippers had a better shot to get to him. The thing with AD is sometimes AD takes himself out the game by not being aggressive, by not being like I've seen a couple games last against Denver where he had 2 rebounds. I think there was a game he had like 3 or 4, something like that.
I think it was the game that we won.
That's not going to get it done. You're the most talented player on the floor at this point. Like LeBron James is still the best player, I believe that. But as far as talent, Anthony Davis has the most talent out of everybody on that floor. The Lakers have the number 1 and number 2 best players. It's after 3 to 15 where it gets murky. I think most of that goes to Miami. But it's Anthony Davis will take himself out of that equation if he doesn't become the dominant big that Los Angeles is used to. You talking about going from the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's of the world, Wilt Chambers of the world, even George Mikan, the Shaquille O'Neals. Los Angeles was used to having a dominant big man. Anthony Davis shows flashes, but come on, man, I want to see more than flashes. And he's, to his credit, for the most part, he's done that. It's just that when it comes to the Bam factor, and shout out to my boy Chango Jameson for throwing his name up there. What Bam does is Bam throws flexibility out there, where he can guard an Anthony Davis, but he can switch on to LeBron James. I'm not saying that Bam's stopping either one of them, but Bam's going to make it hard. And
I mean, like Bam's like 6'9".
Yeah, but
I
that's
mean,
what
can he truly stop LeBron from driving to the basket?
No,
nobody.
but he's a
stops
good
LeBron.
6'9" presence.
But it gets you somebody in front of him that makes it less easy. And I was talking to my homeboy Boog about this yesterday. Um, I look at Bam and I see a young Amari. Back when Amari was playing for the Suns and he blocked Tim Duncan's game winning dunk. That Amari.
Amari Stoudemire?
Yeah. As far as his build, the playing style is not necessarily the same, but because Bam's more flexible. He's kind of like a point forward in a way. He brings the ball up a lot. He can handle it. He can switch a lot. He's a really good player. So they have different playing styles. But as far as a man shake, that fool drinks a man shake every day for morning, afternoon, night, whatever. He's a grown man, and he's still growing into his body. So I think as far as the intimidation factor, that won't be there in Miami. Number one, Jimmy Butler, he gets them guys ready. That's the mentality thing. Everybody in the NBA is athletically enough or talented enough on that level to play the game of basketball. What takes you to the next level is the mental game. Why Miami is sitting right now in the finals when we're talking about it is because of the mental game. Miami's not more talented than Boston. Miami wasn't more talented than Milwaukee. You can make a case that they weren't more talented than Toronto, but they have the mental makeup that's stronger than all of them. That's why Paul George is sitting at home watching this game on TV because his mental capacity is weak. That's what happens when you're a weak-minded individual. You get bounced, you go home early. That's why they are where they are, and Miami's where they're at. So I think that kind of momentum takes them where they need to be.
Shout out Problematic P. I definitely agree with.
Hold on. We not gonna go past that. Like you just call this man problematic. Where'd that come from?
I'm just saying, the word goes around, bro. That's his new nickname I heard. But anywho, yeah, I think that with Bam, I think Bam is a key factor in this game, especially for Miami. And the reason for that is there's no stopping AD and there's no stopping Bron. That's clear. Because when the Nuggets beat them that one game, LeBron had a triple-double. And then AD pretty much almost had a double-double. And I think he probably did have a double-double. And then, the key to beating the Lakers is you just have to stop them defensively from, you got to stop their role players, specifically Rondo. But any perimeter player that they have that's a role player, you got to stop them. That's it. Because you're not going to stop AD. You're not going to stop Bron. And the one thing I've definitely noticed is the Lakers can win and can lose with anyone outside of LeBron and AD dropping more than 13 points. This is a fact. The Nuggets have when they beat the Lakers, I think LeBron had 27, AD had 30, and no one else dropped more than 12.
You said that's when the Nuggets beat them, right?
Yes. No one else dropped more than 12. I think Rondo was the third leading scorer with 12.
Well, it's always going to come down to the others anyway. You know what AD's going to do. You know what LeBron's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, again, Miami goes where it goes because any given day, you don't know what other is stepping up, but you know one of those others is stepping up.
Right.
It could be Duncan Robinson. It could be Dragic. It could be Kendrick Nunn. It could be Olynyk. It could be Hero. It could be whoever, but you have that steady force in Jimmy Buckets. So it's one of those things where I think more than anything, Miami needs to take this game one because that sets the tone. Like, you need that confidence that we can play against these boys. Now, granted, LA has lost 2 game ones out of the 3 series that they played.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, it's a momentum thing and it's a mental thing for Miami. So they have to get off to a great start to build that confidence to keep carrying them because sometimes that's what you need. They don't have the star power. It seems like it's one of those storybook endings. I don't want to keep calling it cliche because I know it's not written. I give LA all the respect that they got, but I still think it is cliche. The Lakers championship the year Kobe died. Um, and to speak
I
on
wouldn't
that,
say it's cliche.
well, I mean,
It's just more so just
when
like
I
it's
say
I
predictable.
mean, it's
when I say cliche, I mean like a movie script.
right.
Like
Like
this is the type of the movie that you write where the hero wins at the end.
okay,
This is what you write. Like you can, if LA wins it, like Boston is the only way that it would have been more storybook. Maybe that's the
right.
better word to use. Storybook ending
Like
because it's the
scripted.
script. It's the legacy of
Yeah.
it. But I just think that if nothing else is not being brought up enough, is the pressure that it does put on LeBron. I think that picture was telling when LeBron's kind of sitting there in the confetti. He just has that stoic look on his face. He has that because he knows what happens if they lose. You're 3-7 now if you lose. Not only are you 3-7, you lost in the year that Kobe died. After half of LA, they weren't. Because they're
Yeah, like we
loyalty was
still
with Kobe.
remember when they destroyed his mural and all that, or
All
mural
that,
or whatever.
but they love you now because it's kind of a front runner thing. They're doing well. They're happy to root for him. But if you because you can't come back next year and then win it and be like, oh, this was for Kobe. Nah, brother, you got 1 year to do it for Kobe. After that, so if he doesn't get it done, the national media curses him, and LA Nation will turn on against him.
There's two things I want to address that T said. Well, the first thing I want to address
Hold on,
is
before you go on, it was a KCP that had 12 and Kuzma had 11.
okay.
Rondo had 9.
Okay.
This is for
The one thing I want to address, the first thing I want to address that T said was that yes, with the losses, I mean, with everything that has transpired with Miami as far as talent wise, I was going to continue my point as well. That's what I was kind of about to get to. It's mostly when you look at when Miami loses and when you look at when LA loses, it's kind of similar. You know, it's kind of similar. Miami is always in games. That's why I feel like this is bad underestimation for Miami. Miami is all. You know what I mean? Like when they lose, they really had chances to win, and that's what I'm saying. Like the Lakers are going against fighters. You know, they're going to be against some very very dogged out players. You know what I mean? And with that, it comes with we're going to have to see a lot more clutch out of LeBron like we did in Game 5 against the Nuggets because Bron scored what like 13 straight in the final minutes of Game 5 against the Nuggets.
Yeah.
So with that, that's what it's going to have to be, you know. Because the second thing I'm about to say is this is probably LeBron James's most important finals ever. This is probably Bron's most important final series of his career. Due to what T has said is on the line. Because we're not really talking about. This might be the least talented team Bron has ever seen. I was thinking because I was comparing the team, the Miami team now to the Dallas team then.
I thought you glitched.
No, I didn't glitch because I stopped for a minute to think. I was like,
how about to unplug you and plug you back?
Yeah, I thought somebody was at the window talking to him or something.
No,
I thought they owed somebody money and they hit him with one of these.
Nah, I literally stopped for
5 o'clock.
Yeah, I literally stopped for a minute because I'm like, is this Miami team more talented than the Dallas Mavericks team that beat Bron? And I'm just like, no.
Nah, I would give
This
it to
Miami
that.
team better than the Dallas? No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
I
this
don't
is
know
the
about
least
that.
talented team Bron has faced in the finals.
I don't know about that. Hold on now. I mean, who did that Dallas team have other than Dirk?
Sean Marion, old ass Jason Kidd,
Golly,
Jason
come on.
Terry. They were all. I don't get fined, but
Oh, you about to
I
get
sell.
fined? You gotta watch some languages, man.
You right.
That's crazy.
They had stupid old players,
Right.
stupid old, but they fit a system that worked. They had Tyson Chandler. Everybody meant something. Everybody was something.
I think speaking on that, Tyson Chandler was so underrated.
Thank you.
That finals
Thank
team,
you.
just
Thank you.
because LeBron James was so used to walking to the cup and doing whatever he wants to do. Half of that tentative stuff, it happened because of Tyson Chandler being at that basket. Now, some of it was LeBron, but the other half has to do with Tyson Chandler being at that point the defensive player of the year. So he knew what time it was. And the thing with chemistry, that's a big thing. Like chemistry is like, you can compare it to dealing with women. Um, she may not be as fine, but she cool in the mud. You like to be around her. You enjoy having her as your company. You got the baddie over there, but she's stuck up. She got an attitude problem. She drama. You don't really want to deal with her like that. That's kind of where LA's at, or in Miami was at that point in time, and that's why they lost because chemistry wins out. Now that girl was probably looking at the less pretty woman and saying, "Well, why did he pick her? She don't have this, she don't have that." Yeah, but her personalities though, the chemistry is there, and that's why you win when you have a great partner and a great team around you. That's what happened with Dallas, and that's what Miami's trying to do. Because at the end of the day, it's not always about star power. If it was always about the star power, Detroit Pistons with Chauncey Billups and Rip Hamilton would not have no ring. It ain't just about that. It's the chemistry factor. That's why Miami's looking good. LA, I think if the going gets really tough, that's when you'll see the finger pointing because it means something different to people. For LeBron,
I don't know
it
about
means
that one. They got the same amount of chemistry to me as Miami
the
that
Lakers.
Miami has.
No,
At least
they
that
don't.
duo has.
No, here's the reason why it looks that way though. Is because Braun, whenever he gets old heads, they just know how to play basketball. He gets high IQ old heads.
When you get like Kuzma out there, it gets a little
different because of the energy.
Messy, it gets a little different. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, it seems like when you got Caruso out there, when you got AD, maybe Dwight, JR, for the most part, it seems to go cohesive. Mm-hmm. Maybe JR messes up or LeBron and JR mess up a play or two, but for the most part, that chemistry works.
Yeah, it's just more so just like LeBron taking initiative and being that guy that is the glue factor, not only just being the best player, but it's also the fact of, like I was saying with high IQ players, he gets a lot of players that either are high IQ or high experience in a championship setting. That's what a Danny Green is for.
All right.
You know what I mean? That's what a JaVale McGee is for.
What about Dion Waiters?
That's your man's.
You're not talking about
we got to. We are. Well, we aren't.
Look, I understand.
It's the birthday boy, Will.
I understand that.
But another thing is like this is really LeBron's most important finals though. Like if you sit there and with face value, like what he hasn't really faced a lot of pressure as of like right now. You know what I mean?
LeBron?
He hasn't.
What?
No.
What was Cleveland?
Which version of Cleveland though?
Either one.
Okay, so with that, Lakers LeBron is facing more pressure than Cleveland LeBron.
How?
Especially, I'm about to explain. The first year it was.
You can't complain. Explain.
Yeah, I can.
No,
I'm about to.
You can't.
I'm about to right now. If you shut up, you're making it longer. Okay, so the Lakers LeBron has more pressure on him than Cleveland LeBron because Cleveland LeBron did everything by himself. LA LeBron has AD. He actually has some type of help. That's one.
What was the 2 40-point games that Kyrie had? That's by himself?
No, but we're getting to the first years of LeBron though. I'm gonna get to the second.
Give you that.
You're talking about the Larry Hughes years.
Yeah,
I'll give you that. He took him
by himself. Like he didn't have no help. Like you know what I'm saying? He's a young player still. Like they thought at that time people thought that LeBron was gonna stay in Cleveland, get some help, and then like run it back. That's what people thought. But the Cleveland organization was so bad they didn't get LeBron any help except for like a 38-year-old Shaq.
I mean, they got a Mo Williams.
Yeah.
Mo Williams by default made one All-Star.
Okay, let me say something real quick, and I'm gonna let you get back to that.
Okay.
One thing I absolutely hate. Now, granted, we didn't Cleveland didn't give him the type of help he needed. I get that aspect. But when you compare it to what he did with Miami, that's completely unfair. Because let's say Cleveland took that year before he went to Miami and said, let's scrap our cap sheet. Let's 1 year contract, everything. Let's have that type of year that that Dwayne Wade had to have. Because before, people like to compare Cleveland situation, but they kind of skim past the Dwayne Wade thing. Dwayne Wade was each year getting bounced in round one or not making the playoffs at all. So when you say get him help, point A, it's easier if your star player is transparent. LeBron James wasn't transparent with Cleveland front office at all. That's one thing. Number two, there was always a myth between, Cleveland didn't want to give up J.J. Hickson to get Amari Stoudemire. Do we not forget what happened to Amari Stoudemire after 2010? He had half a year being dominant. After that, so we would have been stuck with that contract. But let's talk about 2010 and J.J. Hickson. That wasn't the situation. We're not going to give up a young piece who looked like he might be some good.
He was a great rebounder.
He ended up being a bum diddy dum dum. He ended up being that way. But 19-year-old J.J. Hickson, 20-year-old J.J. Hickson didn't look that way. So I'm not mad at him for keeping that. I'm not mad at him for trading for Antoine Jameson. Because at that time, that's what the NBA was about. If anybody knew that they would scrape the cap sheet, bring LeBron and Chris Bosh over to Miami and do it that way, I guarantee you Cleveland would have wiped that slate clean and did the same type of thing. LeBron wouldn't try to recruit nobody to Cleveland into that second go around. He just always had that cop out after that first run. So that's why I can give you credence to the first run wasn't as much pressure. But I think that second run, I actually will say Miami had more pressure than any of these LA ones. Because
that was pressure they put on themselves. Though.
Yeah, but it was still pressure.
Right.
Like right now, the Laker fan base will dog you, and the LeBron haters will dog you. So really, it's a lot of pressure, but it's more of the people that already hated you anyway, which just hate you more.
Right.
I think by the Miami thing, people who actually rooted for LeBron turned against him because of that, because some people didn't like the way that he did things. So it's I get the whole Cleveland bad team, blah blah blah, skip. You got to bring context into it because there was not much Cleveland could have done in that situation, especially when your star player refused to call Chris Bosh and say, "Hey, let's come to Cleveland," but he said, "Let's come to Miami." Now, granted, Miami is Miami, so I can't be too mad at that. But this starts to give these athletes every excuse in the book, and that's why you see the things that's happening now because that's what they're used to. Right. If they win, it's because of them. If they lose, it's everybody else's fault, and that's what I'm sick of. Continue.
Now I definitely agree, and that's what I was trying to do as far as putting context into the first, Cleveland run, because like you were saying before, as his career escalated is when he got more pressure, especially when he went to Miami. And I understand where you come from when you say the whole Miami thing being the most pressure that Bron's ever faced, because it wasn't just the team that he had, it wasn't just the help that he had, it was the not full, not five. It was that kind of pressure that he put on himself, like you were saying, Ron.
Right.
It's mostly too. The one thing that I definitely look at is, like, keep in mind when I said that this might be LeBron's least talented team that he's ever faced in the finals. That's a key factor, because another reason why I think that it takes a less pressure off of LeBron is because look at LeBron's comp in the finals before Miami. He's had some legendary teams, and a lot of them were the Spurs. Just that dynasty alone. Now, granted, we look at some players that lost and fell to Michael Jordan, and we just look at them like, dang, their careers would have been better if they would have won such and such year. You know what I mean? That's exactly how we would have looked at LeBron. And that's how I understand where you could say that he came with the most pressure, because had he not won in those situations, where would he be at today? He wouldn't be the person that he was today if it wasn't for those situations, granted. And he wouldn't have, and he would have went through those tough teams. And would that alter his decision to go out west? It's just like, man, I've dealt with like all these teams out west, and I can't beat them. Why would I go out there? You know what I'm saying?
I'd say even if he wasn't 3-6, he'll still go out west.
Probably for the challenge.
Yeah.
I think that too is just. That's the reason why his record looks the way it does now, because of all those tough teams.
To be honest, he wouldn't be the king that he is now, but he'd still be like, at best, he'd be like Karl Malone.
Yeah, he'll still be a top 5 player ever.
Yeah.
Still, he just would he would be at literally where I would have him right now at 4. LeBron's not leaving 4. I don't care.
What you mean?
As greatest of all time, LeBron's staying at 4.
Who's your top 3?
My top 3 is MJ, Kareem, and Magic.
Nah, I'll give you MJ and Kareem, but you gotta put LeBron over Magic. Magic always had what? James Worthy, Kareem.
James Worthy, and yeah, that's true. But at the same time, Magic has 5 rings.
But
Magic won a ring in his first year at 19 years old, replacing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar playing center against Philly in Philly, one of the toughest sports towns in the world.
Once again, he always had Kareem and James
against Julius Erving in them.
Come on now,
it's tough.
I get having him in,
and
the
he
top
played
5.
over 40-some minutes and almost had a triple double in that final game at a rookie at age 19.
I get this case. I still feel like LeBron would be up there. Just I had him at 2, just because. And granted, I think he's more in the conversation as the GOAT than he would have been if he can win one in LA, because it's hard to duplicate winning the championship in 3 different places. That's ridiculous, and that's something, because that's what it boils down to. Like, LeBron has Jordan. He gets that because he has something that LeBron can never achieve. That's 6-0 in the finals, which also is something that I kind of feel is a little skewed somewhat, just because people look and say, well, 6-0 in the finals, cool, but how many years did Jordan play? There's years that he was bounced out.
About
Why?
15,
let's look at the totality of it. You know, he got 6 rings, but
I'm pretty sure it was 16.
It's still about the totality of it. So yeah, LeBron is 3-6, and Jordan is 6-0. But at the same time, LeBron's been bounced in other rounds. Jordan's been bounced in other rounds. It is what it is. But that was the unattainable thing that LeBron had working against him, because he can never go 6-0. Well, Jordan can't win a championship from 3 different teams. The problem that it comes with LeBron is, and that's why they lost some of these finals, LeBron ain't no GM. As hard as he tries to be and as hard as he wants to do those things, he can't be a GM. There's a reason why he's the basketball player. And when he does that, his teams kind of get tied into a quandary, because they are who they are. He didn't use all the cap space, and then he gonna bang out on you. He did it in Cleveland, he did it in Miami, and he'll probably do the same thing in LA. Because when LeBron leaves and he's gone, all those first round picks that you used to get Anthony Davis will still be out there. And you might have a terrible team. LeBron got his chances at the rings, but he left you with nothing. And that's the kind of thing they both had their pros and cons with their talent levels. But I think that's going to be the knock on LeBron, is that he tried too hard to direct the way that his career was going to go. If he would have just played the game of basketball the way he should have been playing it, they would have won a championship at some point. LeBron James wasn't going to retire without being a champion.
That's a fact.
He just, I don't know if it's growing up in a social media world where a whole lot of strangers that don't have nothing to stand on have way too much of a factor in these athletes' life, and not just athletes, human beings' life, where they try to appease the people who don't really matter. And it seems like LeBron got snuck up in that kind of generation, that I have to get me a championship early because I don't want to see somebody's mean tweets. Guess what, brother? You still get mean tweets. You still get mean memes and all of that. Michael Jordan's crying face is from the doggone Hall of Fame. That's dumb to me.
Right.
Because this is a moment that you're acknowledging greatness, but yet this is a joke, and these are the same people that you don't want to send you a tweet. Come on, man, stop the madness.
And that's what I'm saying too. And T, I'm glad you brought that up too. First of all, I want to ask you all this question: does LeBron James winning this ring further prove his case of being a GOAT, or does he move up?
I'm gonna be honest. It's always been 1A, 1B to me. All right, Jordan 1A, LeBron 1B.
I can understand that. I think it's just kind of one of those things. Like, I'm fortunate enough to kind of grow up watching Jordan, and then growing up with LeBron. Like, me and LeBron graduated the same year. You know what I'm saying? So I get to see him as, it's kind of like a peer thing.
Yeah.
You know, so it's watching how they grow up and how they went about things. You can kind of make a thought about it. But if you're, let's say, under 25, you grow up around LeBron. LeBron is your Jordan.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm fortunate enough to have a Jordan and LeBron. You know what I'm saying? Some people, you might not have been able to see Jordan
Right. Or the Jordan you saw was with the Wizards.
The Wizards, you know what I'm saying? That's the wash Jordan. The game was different. Like if you go watch, if you're growing up now and you go and watch, let's say Warriors 2015 basketball, and then you go and watch one of the Chicago, let's say '93, their game, you're probably going to be bored watching the Bulls playing back then because every bucket mattered so much more because they played defense.
Right.
Now and that's why I call it the stats generation. People don't care about context anymore. That's why Kevin Durant gets that credit that he gets from some people that refuse to come on the show and debate me. By the way, hi Cody.
Oh crap! Don't call out Cody like that.
No, you don't want to come on here. Scared of the big dogs. But anyway, context matters.
Yes.
If you cheat your way to a championship, you got to call it out. But in this generation now, it's the stats. He scored 35 points in 3 games. The stats, the championship. Forget that. You had to cheat your way to it. You played the game on pro. When I play my 2K, when I turn it on, I go to Hall of Fame. What's up? Some people go there, play pro. But this generation accepts that because they don't care about what you did to get that title. They care about you got that title. That's whack to me. Get your game up.
And that's I'm glad you brought that up, T. You know, it's just I think that with LeBron growing up in the social media,
I'm loving the conversation. Y'all going off. We at 120 though. I mean,
we do what we want.
We could go longer if y'all want to.
I mean, technically we would have to since we started at 12:30.
Yeah, I mean we could go longer if y'all want to, but I'm just telling y'all the time right now. It's 120.
It's my birthday. We do what I want.
All right, eventually we gotta get to y'all predictions. Our predictions.
Yeah. I just wanted to state this out real quick. It's just with LeBron, like T said, growing up in the social media era, and with LeBron being the best player that we've seen ever, especially in the social media era, everything kind of just looked up to him. You know, it's just that's kind of one of the reasons why we have a lot more sensitive people in today's league. We see Kevin Durant doing virtually the same thing. We've seen other players virtually do the same thing. Like not necessarily with just the theatrics or it's just switching teams. It's just going from one team to another. Like it's okay. You know, like we came from an era where it was just loyalty and you just stuck with the team and you just, so you tried your absolute best unless you was one of those role players that was just really, really good. Where all the teams really wanted you.
Why you say we came from an era?
Well, I'm older than you.
We 23. He 30. He 35. We 23, man.
Okay, I came from that era.
We was part of the era where it was loyalty, then it was switching up.
Yeah. Okay, so he's more senior. Okay, whatever. So it's just we've all were at least alive to be around an era to where we've seen loyalty and more in the NBA. But now it's just more so just like you hear whispers and everything. I really believe that in a sense, social media made the world smaller.
Right.
To where it's just you can't escape from the negativity that people are throwing at you as long as you have a social media account.
I call it the cool table that everybody can sit at. Because usually if you take it back to school, there's a hierarchy.
Yeah.
You can't be the dweeb and the geek and the nerd and you go hang out with the jocks. That's not how it works. They don't have no room at that table for you. You
not know me then.
They're not. You made beats on the table. That's what they look like. Rondell looked like that dude. He was cool because he just came and knew the beats. Like, all right, I'm freestyle today. Rondell here, buddy. But anyway.
Rondell was DJ Clue.
Well, I was making beats. At times.
Fuck Master Dale, boy. Man,
not fuck Master.
But anyway, now it's you have no choice. Like usually, you come sit down, they're gonna look at you. What are you doing here? Let's sit at your table. But with social media, now I get to say the stupid stuff to remind you why you weren't allowed to sit at the cool table.
And there's going to be those people that agree with it because there's those people out there. So it's just no matter what, you're going to have some type of like fan base.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No matter what, it just whatever you do. And some people take that as, being the bad guy. And that's another thing, too, about LeBron James' career. LeBron, when he was in Miami, actually started to embrace being the bad guy. Did he want to? No, but he had to. Because it was a part of moving forward for him.
The time he said he had to change his mindset, which is also the time he said he didn't like basketball much.
Right. It was because he was starting to become a villain. He never wanted to be a villain. LeBron always wanted to be a person that everyone looked up to and, be a positive figure, in which he is, but at the same time, it's just like he doesn't want to be the hero in something that he loves.
Well, he comes
which is
from
the
a
game.
he comes from a generation where it made doing corny stuff cool. Like
Right.
now, this is the most enabling corny behavior. Like I feel like what's corny in 2020 was also corny in 2010. Was also corny in 2000. Was also corny in 1990. But the way people move nowadays, it's like you can do something. That's where Kevin Durant comes from. Oh, LeBron did that. Let me one up him. And I'm going to have a crowd that's going to say what he did was a cool thing because they don't care about being real.
I mean, to be honest, to make it what truly makes what KD did corny is the fact that it was unnecessary. Whereas like with LeBron, you could kind of justify what he did a little bit.
It was more so he went to
Somewhat.
a team that didn't even go like they went to the playoffs, but they went in off of the strength of one person.
Right.
With Golden State, they made off the strength of three.
Yeah, and,
You know what I mean?
just also the fact that like Boston had their own little. I mean, it was an old man big three, but they had their own little big three.
Yeah, but that was one of the, like I can understand that because they're at the end of their rope with that.
Right.
One. They're at that era where you can kind of ring taste a little bit and try to figure it out because you've been trying to do it on your own and it wasn't going to get done. LeBron was just impatient, and then now I can blame everybody else because that's where it came from. If I screw up, like it's like playing ball. If you pass me the ball and I shoot it and I miss, I'm like, oh, that's on me. Or if I throw the ball and it's a turnover, that's on me. Watch, even to this day, watch LeBron when the turnover happens. He looking right at that player because he knows.
Yeah. Like I want to say he missed an assignment. I want to say against the Nuggets, and he looked at Jr. Like
Yeah, I remember that play
It's
specifically.
like-
That's the play I thought about.
Like I was looking straight at LeBron. I'm like, that was all you.
But that's what enables it now because you got these people that saying that's cool, where the people that's like that's corny behavior, we get kind of drowned out now because doing corny things are cool now. So it doesn't matter till it gets to a point where it does, and that's where KD's sitting at because you took it too far. You cheated the game all the way. You got your rings cool, but even you don't believe that they legit. That's why you went high skipping the jump to Brooklyn.
The league is weird. The league is weird because it's like the people that want to leave, they want to pick and select their own market too. You know, like the players really meet up in off season and be like, okay, yeah, let's go ahead and play in Minnesota. You know, like not necessarily Minnesota, but just like
I don't think nobody's doing that.
No. I'm just saying, for example, just like if there's a 3-person tandem that's just like, okay, one's already there. So it's just like me and you are going to meet up over here. We're going to discuss how much bread we want to talk about this, that, and that. We know how much cap space. Boom, we're already there. It's kind of like what LeBron and them already did. It's just, all right, D-Wade's already there. Bosh, me and you need to talk. All right, so boom, we're going to talk about having this much bread and and then we're going to both be there. Boom. That's exactly what it is now. And that's just listening to KD's words specifically. A lot of the locations are not starting to matter anymore. Because think about it. He said specifically, the reason why I didn't go to the New York Knicks is because they haven't won nothing ever since I've been in the league. They haven't won the championship since what, 71, 72?
Way before any of us was alive.
So it's just like they haven't won anything since Durant's been alive. So it's just like, why would I go there? Why would I be the person that takes the pressure off of that organization? It's not my time to do that. I would have did that when I was younger, but right now I'm trying to win, and like I've already established myself as being who I am. I'm Kevin Durant. You know what I mean? It's just they no one wants to deal with that pressure of a bad organization and dealing with that. They just want an easier road. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily a bad thing to avoid such toxic organizations like the New York Knicks, but at the same time, it's just the narrative just speaking, like you understand, like, all right, so yeah, I'm not going, even if it's a big market. You know, New York is one of the biggest markets in the world, so it just doesn't matter to him. It's just like, oh yeah, that's a terrible franchise. So at least people are making sense of their moves, but at the same time, it's like it's still not fair because it's just going to make the league dull. You have to be a player in already a small market that's like top 5, like a Giannis, in order for them to go to a medium to small market. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's where it comes down to. It kind of makes the economy weird, and I don't like that at all.
That's the one thing football has over him is it really location doesn't matter.
Before you go off, it's about 1:28. We got the Doc news. You know, Doc Rivers. Okay. The predictions, which we could just throw that out real quick, and build a team.
Okay, so for my predictions of tonight and for the series, I got the Lakers tonight, and I have the Lakers in 6.
Okay. What about you, T?
I'm picking Miami. You know why?
Tonight?
Because that's how Deion Waiters wins the championship. He ain't gonna have no type of contribution to the winning cause. That's what's gonna happen. That's how he gets one. Is I played against the team that I had that edible with that cut me and fired my tire. That team is where I'm gonna get traded from, somehow wind up in LA, get my nice $500 Rock T-shirt on, and win a championship by doing absolutely positively nothing.
I think
That's
LeBron.
how Deion Waiters gets the ring.
I think LeBron knew that, and that's why he got Deion Waiters specifically. I think he knew that.
I hate man.
Deion has not played he hasn't played in a game in a minute.
You know why?
It's like October.
Because he's Deion Doodle Street Waiters. That's why. He's a bum, certified bum.
Yo, it's so personal.
Take him and Meek Mill with you, bro. I'm tired of both of them. I'm good, man.
Meek gotta stay, bro.
Meek can go.
Meek gotta stay.
Meek can go.
Meek gotta stay.
I need one
Get
more.
Twitter fingers up out of here.
I need one more yelling album from Meek. Then he can go.
I don't want to hear that man yell.
I need one more.
Yo, he ordered like he sound like he ordering McDonald's from the passenger seat.
Every Meek Mill album better come with a cheesesteak. I'll tell you that much.
That's a fact.
I'm cool. That's the only way you gonna get me listening to that dude. I don't want to be yelled at. I'm cool, man. I feel like spit hit me in the eye every time I listen to a Meek Mill album. I already got to deal with a mask. Now I got to deal with
on the glass.
Meek Mill spit.
Every bar.
Look, even saying the name Meek Mill, I got extra spit in my mouth right now because I said Meek Mill. Come on, man. I'm trying. Him and Deion with bro. I'm cool, man. Get them out of here. But that's why I'm picking Miami. So no, it ain't even no basketball reason. It's the fact that I can't see Deion Waiters walking
ring
next year, shaking the Adam Silver's hand, getting that ring. I can't see none of that. I see him being out of the league, sitting on some type of yacht with another edible, about to do a freaking backstroke outside of it with that Miami championship ring that he didn't earn for nothing. Get him out of here. You better look. We almost out of time.
That's wild.
Today I got time.
All right, look, I got the Lakers.
Today I got time.
I got the Lakers in 5. Another gentleman's sweep. It's part of the stories, boys. It's part of the stories.
A 5 is a gentleman's sweep.
Yeah.
I guess you could call that a gentleman's sweep.
Oh boy.
That's what it's always been called.
Has it always been called a gentleman's sweep? A 5?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I've always used gentleman's sweep in a different aspect. Like you fought all 4 games. Like the games were between 5 and 3 or something like that. But it's just gentlemen's 40.
Yeah, I got Lakers in 5. I got the Heat at least winning game 2. I can see it going 7 though, but I got them in 5.
I wouldn't be surprised if Miami won game 1.
I wouldn't be surprised if they won.
But then they would have to lose 4 straight. I don't see that.
You don't see them losing 4 straight?
I don't see Miami losing 4 straight. That's what I'm saying. Like Miami stays in games.
Yeah, that's why I said I could see it going 7 because they are fighters, you know. But I can see LeBron overpowering them, especially with AD.
I don't know about LeBron overpowering them because I think Jimmy Butler is going to be the defender on LeBron. Jimmy Butler's a really good defender.
Yeah, he is. He's a great defender.
I think it's going to come down to AD and Bam, the Kentucky, matchup. You know how many players have been shining from Kentucky in the bubble?
Too many.
Jesus Christ. You can name them all, and it's a deep list.
Yeah, too many.
Tyler Perry should come back and coach the NBA.
For real, the bubble can have its own Kentucky starting 5, and it'd be better than a lot of players, a lot of teams starting 5 that were in the bubble.
Relax.
I'm serious.
Relax. But
Jamal Murray.
Bro, you really about to go on the whole
Tyler
list?
Hero.
10 time.
Jamal Murray, Tyler Hero.
I don't know who plays small for.
And look, I'm telling you to do this though. I wish I could read all these comments, man.
Bam and AD.
My Facebook Live is they have me.
Your Facebook Live jumping?
Yeah, man.
Go ahead and read the comments now.
There's too many. But shout out to my boy Chango. He said Dwight is the X Factor.
Yeah.
I'll give him that.
Because who's gonna
said not all night, bro. He will foul out trying to stick LeBron. I'm assuming he's talking about Jimmy Butler. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot over here, bro.
Man, tell him be on the score.
As long as AD doesn't get in foul trouble early in games,
But it came to my personal page because we were having technical difficulties.
You looking at me like I can control the computer.
I'm saying you running
you
bored.
technically can. You've been doing a good job as of late. I'm proud of you.
I got a fireman on
Proud
my
of me
own
too, bro.
birthday. That sucks.
No, it just means you were
can't
boss on your
fire
birthday.
someone that quits, bro. I quit, bro.
See?
You can't fire me when I quit, bro. Come on.
Fast.
Oh, so you want to quit now? You're a quitter?
Bro,
That's how you feel? That's
I quit.
that's the label that you want to put in your life?
I quit yesterday. If I get fired, I gotta quit. At least when you quit, you get unemployment. So
My boy Raylon Allman said Miami will have trouble finishing in the paint. That's a man that knows basketball. The shooter. That's a man that can help Miami. Hey now, shout out to my boy Raylon Allman. Get your buckets.
But y'all want to talk about Doc Rivers real quick? Or?
Yeah, with Doc Rivers. Well, right before we started the show too, they said that Philly was talking to Doc Rivers, so they were going to set up an interview. Okay. And I already knew it. I feel like I already said it on my Facebook, like the day that Doc got released. Doc is going to get an interview with Philly. He's going to go to Philly, and they're still not going to make it past the semifinals. Still.
You know what this remind me of? Doc Rivers is kind of becoming a Kardashian. As much as he's getting passed around.
What?
Like, that's just kind of what. That's kind of not even just Doc Rivers. It's what these coaches, like these coaches, the coaching carousel is what we talked about on previous shows. Find you a different coach. Find somebody that ain't a head coach already. Find somebody that ain't blown 3-1 leads. Find you that. Now, I ain't.
When he blown 3 of them.
3. Orlando.
3 of them things.
The Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
And the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like they keep recycling these coaches, and then they're introducing them as they new boo each time. It's like, well, you know, my boo here, he's going to change everything and going to put a ring on my finger, and then 3 years later, they in that
wildin', bro.
He might.
Well, you done,
hey, it's his birthday, man. Let him go. Let him walk.
What did you expect?
I need you to stop waking up the audience, bro.
Stop.
I love my audience.
You waking them up. Calm down, bro.
Wake up.
They sleep.
Wake up.
They sleep.
Time.
Just saying,
but it's just, that's all it be. Like, I don't care. Find
maybe
me somebody.
Philly's the one, though.
Well, maybe they're meant for each other.
Yeah.
They all an underachieving team. Let that happen. But just like the Kardashians, it'll make you reveling for a little bit, and then they're gonna be on to the next.
I mean, most of Doc Rivers' success was in the East, right?
Yeah.
Maybe he deserves to be a coach in the East.
He should be, but I don't think that Philly is that team. I think more so Philly's issue is the roster, more than coaching. I just think that Embiid and Simmons just don't get together. They just don't. They just don't go together. With Embiid as bad as a three-point shooter as he is, and with Simmons is not a shooter at all, what are you doing in today's NBA? One of them's got to go.
I say it's more they're not playing their actual position.
They're not playing their actual strengths.
Like they're asking too much of Simmons. Oh no, not Simmons. They're asking too much of Embiid, and Simmons not giving enough at time.
Yeah, because it's just like, all right, Embiid, we know that Ben Simmons is not going to be able to shoot anytime soon, especially with like everything has to be a progress. So we're going to need you to, because you're more of an offensive player, and that's BS. If you want to talk, if you really want to do it, like that's not how you develop players at all. That's not. You're not. My development is not supposed to be on T's development. That's what it comes down to. Right. So that's where they're doing that wrong. So that means that with them being in like their mid-20s, on their way to their late 20s, one of them got to go. Yeah, and it has to be Simmons.
I wouldn't say that.
Aaron Russell said Joel Embiid has to stop shooting commercials.
That's right. Crazy.
Get your focus.
They're starting to look like the Browns of
why we got to do
of the NBA.
You and your friends, they brought up too many commercials. Who was doing too many commercials last year?
Is Embiid's like a Baker Mayfield, bucko?
Looking like Baker.
He ain't wanted to.
Embiid's Baker, bro.
He didn't get his money yet.
Even this year, I'm seeing a lot of commercials from Baker.
I'm seeing a 2-1 record, but we'll talk about that on Nutty North. Make sure to check us out tomorrow.
Really, Ben Simmons is Baker, and then you can say that Embiid is OBJ.
I say the best thing is they need shooters around them.
Like, my boy Raylon with him,
kind of like how LeBron
exactly. But with those two, like you have to, like you don't even know where you want to put Ben Simmons at. Do you want to put him at the 4? Do you want to put him at the 3? Do you want to put him at the 1? They don't know. So that's what is frustrating about Philly. I say
keep him at the 1.
What's frustrating about Philly is they gave Al Horford 4 years and $90 million.
That is the dumbest thing I have ever seen Philly do in a grip. What are you doing? Why would you do that to Al Horford? Al Horford already like 34.
That's another Atlanta player that's out here still succeeding for some reason.
My man, the shooter.
I mean, from that big three that Atlanta had, a lot of them were in the bubble still.
Look,
Paul Millsap in Denver.
I'm just saying, Korver, he coming off the bench.
Korver was still with the Bucks.
He was coming off the bench. Like, why?
Korver's 38 years old.
Why is Millsap out in?
Why are you 38 years old looking like Justin Bieber still? That's the real question. On a basketball court.
Yo, all right.
What are we doing?
Yo, wow.
Oh, that's stuff out in the court.
That's the real question.
Yes.
But yeah, I think that this is going to be an interesting finals. This is the most pressure I think LeBron's ever been in as far as finals wise. So just putting everything together, it's a lot.
Yeah, I see it.
The win side is a lot, the loss side is a lot, and then just the circumstance that we're in is a lot. So
okay, so that's your last thoughts. Any last thoughts? Any other last thoughts?
Last thoughts. Like I said, check me and Rondell out tomorrow on the Nutty North Show at same time, same channel, same place.
We'll do Build a Team next week.
We'll do it at some point.
This is a part of the job that I love. Is that if I was going to any other job on my birthday, I'd probably be done fought somebody at this point. But I love being here.
That's deep.
It's the best job you can have. So I mean, it's dope. I get to spend it with my peoples. You know what I'm saying? It's all love. Hopefully, I can get me some Carolina Gold wings and Cinnabon. Please. Share it with y'all. Happy to get another birthday. All that. Turn up.
Sir.
No turn down. It's going down our time. Marvell said what you need. Hey yo.
Some what?
Grub.
Some grub.
From
the hub.
Get your mind out the gutter. It ain't the weekend yet.
Hey, but it's still his birthday. Check me out, Marvell Nichols on Facebook. Marvelous with 2 underscores on IG. Spell with that with the 1 instead of the letter L. I guess I'll be more active on Twitter. I don't know yet. I'll come back to you next week with that decision. And like I said, keep sending us ideas, please, for the show. We love to hear y'all. We love creativity, and we love to pander to the crowd if we can. If we have a crowd, please stay active in our chats. Stay active with us on the shows, and we'll bring you up and we'll shout you out. We appreciate the love and support as always, man.
All right, and for my last words, check me out on Facebook, Rondell Sutherland, Instagram, r.Sutherland Films. Check me out tomorrow, Nutty North, 12 to 1:30. Also, make sure y'all check out StoreOnAir.com, where we have all our broadcasts, daily blogs, our live streams, everything. Check out StoreOnAir.com. Another thing, make sure y'all Cosba. It's almost October 2nd through the 4th. Cosba, that virtual 5K. Make sure y'all check that out. Get to walking, get to running, get to rolling, get to doing something. It's a 5K, baby. It's a 5K. It's virtual too. But that's us. Hopefully tomorrow the audio will be fixed. And
ain't no hopefully.
If it's not fixed by tomorrow, that means that we don't have sports unfiltered.
Out with hope.
Deshaun will be sad, but at the same time, we get to go home early.
Look, okay, hopefully it's fixed after we done because Lady Payne is right after us. So make sure y'all tune in for Lady Payne.
Yeah.
And
don't play about my grub. Do not play about my grub.
Why are you mad about it?
What's wrong with my